Hello and welcome to the show that we have crafted purposely for the upcoming by-election in the Akwatia constituency known as Akwatia Watch here on ChannelOne television and on 97.3 CTFM with me, Umaru Sandamado. We'll be bringing you this show until the people of Akwatia go to the by-election on Tuesday, September 2nd, to elect a person who will represent them in Parliament following the demise of their Member of Parliament, the Honorable Ernest Kumi. I'll be telling you what the focus of the discussion for today is when we come back. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is Akwatia Watch. It is a show where everything you need to know on the elections coming up in Akwatia in the Eastern region. This is where you should tune to on 97.3 CTFM and on ChannelOne television. I'm your anchorman, Umaru Sandamado, and every day we bring you a different topic. Yesterday, I hosted Nana Tufo Boatin, who walked us through the sights and scenes of Akwatia, the demography and the geography of the area. Today, we are focusing on who the candidates really are. Now, we are told that 3 persons who have expressed interest in running or contesting that particular seat. The delegates and not the constituents of Akwatia will decide who is going to represent them in this particular Parliament. I've dragged into studio one of our members who just returned from the Akwatia constituency. Charles Osukumi is my colleague in the newsroom. You're welcome, Charles.
Thank you very much.
How was the trip to Akwatia?
Well, it was bumpy. It was smooth at some point, but eventually we got to Akwatia on Saturday. We went through Asaman. You know, we took the Asaman route, Asaman all the way through Osenase, Awaham, Osenase, then to Akwatia itself, Buedua, then to Akwatia itself. You know, the road, you know, like in many other parts of the country, it's bumpy at some points, it's smooth at some others. For example, like in Asaman, for example, they have very, very good inner roads. All of the roads looked tarred, and to think that Asaman does not have the mineral deposits that Akwatia has. You know, it was quite a bit disappointing when we got to Akwatia and saw the roads there. You know, Asaman is like a trade hub for Osenase, Awaham, all those people. They come to Asaman to trade. So it's understandable that they have some level of good roads. But when you go forward to where we're supposed to have the diamond hub of the country, it was a bit just disappointing to see what we saw.
Was that your first time in Akwatia?
Yes, Akwatia itself, yes. But I've been to Asama or Oda, you know.
My first time making a proper stuff.
Yes.
Were you underwhelmed or overwhelmed? Based on everything you expected, everything you've heard about the town, based on everything you know, that people can even be in a area and they'll see diamond on the ground and they pick it up. All these stories that we've heard.
Well, I think it was a bit underwhelming. I think it was underwhelming, really, because you know when you hear stories about mining communities having to struggle with development. I mean, a case in point, Obuasi. So yes, I'm going there. The expectations were not so high, but I thought that, well, especially when we go to Asama and saw the level of development in Asama, I was expecting that it would be at least at par with what we saw there. The Asaman roads are asphalted. It's beautiful. So when we got to...
When you are saying Asama, have you lived in that area before? Have you lived in that enclave before?
Yeah, I've lived there a bit.
Oh, okay. Which parts?
There was a village called Nyadie, just a few hours drive from Asaman.
Oh, wait, you were living in Asama and doing what there?
No, I was doing my national service there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So I know that enclave a bit, you know, but like I said, I thought that it would be just a bit at par with, especially the roads.
I see.
But it wasn't as I
Someone is whistling in my ear. That
yeah, I know. Somebody's whispering.
That you were teaching there, which means that you encountered the people a lot. You know a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, I encountered the Achim people. I mean, they're very nice people. So I was there for a year.
Okay.
They're teaching. Okay.
Let me touch base with our correspondent in the Eastern region also, who is going to join us for this discussion. Neoni Amate Kanako, you're welcome to the Akwatia Watch.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
I've just discovered that Charles Osukumi used to teach in that enclave. For you, how did you end up in Koforidoa doing coverage for us, by the way. Have you settled in that area before as well?
Oh, yes. I was born and bred in Koforidua.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a proper Koftan boy.
But for the records, you speak Ga as well, and you are Gaman. Anyway, so I'll come to you. We'll talk about the candidates. That's what we are focusing on today, and Charles as well. But before then, Charles did a report when he went, a journalist, when we go to communities, we carry our gadgets and we do reports. So I'm going to let us see the report Charles put together, having engaged community members in Akwatia. Then we come back in studio for further discussions.
On September 2, the nation's focus will be here in the Akwatia constituency in the eastern region, as the people of Akwatia and the other towns within the constituency will be electing a new member of parliament to represent them following the untimely demise of Ernest Kumi, the man who had been representing Akwatia in parliament since he won that election in 2024. But unfortunately, he passed away in July last month. Today, my focus is on the key personalities in this election from the NPP side and from the NDC side. From the NDC side, you have lawyer Bernard Bediako, and then from the NPP, you have Solomon Kwame Asumadu. We'll be looking at the dynamics of this upcoming election. We'll be engaging the electorates, what they are looking for in the qualities of a new member of parliament, what their aspirations are, and who these two key personalities are representing coming into this very election on September 2. Your full name, sir?
Adams Mohammed.
Adams Mohammed. How long have you lived in Akwatia?
Born and bred in Bodia.
Okay.
Schooled in Bodia.
Okay.
So I've lived my life in Bodia.
I know that a by-election is upcoming. You have selected Solomon Asumadu to represent the NPP in that by-election. Who is Solomon Asumadu?
Solomon is a brother, a friend. He also born and bred in Akwatia, Bodia. He's a native of Bodia. Not only from Bodia, also from Akwatia. You understand? He's schooled here in Bodia. He's opened a lot of work. He has businesses that the youth in Akwatia and Bodia are enjoying from. He's employed thousands and thousands of youth of Akwatia Bodia. Not only Akwatia Bodia, the whole constituency. If you mention Solomon Asumadu, aka Owo, then you know the response is Okumkom. Okumkom means someone who, like, how do I put it?
Is he rich?
He's okay. He's a businessman. He's okay. He's okay. He's a businessman who has businesses and has given employment to the youth. He's a miner too. He's a miner. He's a miner.
So he's got legal mining concessions?
It's of course. He's a legal miner.
What are his chances? I mean, you are from the NPP side, so I know that you're upbeat, but realistically, what are his chances?
You see, even the NDC people knows their candidate is a mismatch for Owo. He cannot stand Owo this election.
Like I said, this is a taxi station. You have some taxi drivers having conversations among themselves. Enyama bempa na osha. Ehuhia wa ha wose abanma na nikwa.
Enyama de ehia nyama bebre. First na ye GCD company wa ha. Egu. Esi ejuma bi eni ha bi. Omo amoye man we. Ono e trustee wa hanum. Ono se no GCD we se wadani taxi driver. Taxi driver na wadani no so no se pragya for no. Omo gu ejuma no nti obi apefu mu ayden akọ. Anase obeko ni kurum. Se no ho na yete egu so dwen ya kan.
Next week, mo be san to aba foforo. Bernard Bediako, NDC, anase Solomon Asumadu, NPP. Nkofo mienu woni mo mo.
The minimum no Asumadu, but Bediako ne the minimum no.
Unim no kra.
David.
O ma ha meye campaign ma ho no.
David. Minimum no. Se me dey am on station. Dey bia me was kwasi ada nyina me was station.
Nti Asumadu na onim no onim se otesen.
Ono de se nyame boa na yeto abama no nwini a. Me fi se eniama so betimi aba for mama yen ayewo hanom no.
Oh, okay. Nti no a che se wokoto aba obeto ama Asumadu.
Meto ama no.
Ni di nti na obeto ama no.
Se fane say o edwumayefo bebre say edwumayefo no owo no ye drivers na wo ho no ebi mu bebre na di omo ho adanse say we obi fa no e de ne ko na edwuma obi fa no e de ne ko na fie ono na waboaboa sa nipa ni nyina.
So far the responses we're getting from the taxi drivers here at the Bodua Lorry station, where we're told Solomon Asumadu hails from Bodua, and so they seem to be more conversant with him and have told us so far that, well, they are going to vote for him on September 2. The NDC office in Bodua is just, it's not too far from us. We'll also go there and see if we can get some of the executives of the NDC here in Bodua and engage them on their expectations, their preparations for this by-election, which is upcoming.
My name is Audu Salifu.
Audu
Salifu, Bodua West Coordinator. Okay. Yes.
And here with you is the secretary, right?
Secretary Jibril Kasim.
We are preparing for the election. We went to primaries. They betray in number, but now we get the one we got. We like to attend the primary. So now we are towards lawyer Bediako as a parliamentary candidate for the Bodua as a constituency, as a NDC parliamentary candidate for Bodua constituency.
But you know the election for lawyer Bediako. Lawyer Bediako was the lawyer for the former MP in that election petition. And then he contested the primaries and beat him. I mean, does that not present any challenges within the party?
Challenges because they want primary. As constituency, our rules is when it reaches primaries like this, you have to go and take forms. So that anyone can go take forms. So lawyer Bediako is our former secretary to the party for Akwatia constituency here. So that's why he used to contest for the election.
How sure are you that on September 2, lawyer Bernard Bediako will become MP for Akwatia?
Of course, because we are in power. Because we need improvement for the constituency. So as lawyer won the primaries, that's what we unite to follow him as a parliamentary candidate for our NDC in Akwatia here. That's why we should follow it. So we know surely he will win the election.
Just sitting beside the lawyer Bernard Bediako's banner here is a shop which is also hanging in front of it, a banner for Solomon Kwame Asumadu. They are sitting side by side. And then NDC for office now so the banner bebo hai.
Oh, say yen Bodua for the yen politics here. And yen tokwa. Say we afa, no we afa and yen tokwa. Wari ase, Mr. Stone, Mr. Candidate in here, Solomon Asumadu. Body be any.
Landlord.
I'm a landlord, no, into Tokweni ho.
And you'll be too.
Oh, I know the idea had a yanisa. Baby for na omukun tokwa, yan kun tokwa.
Na Asumadu no unim ne sen.
Asumadu de minimum pa, sebita fra chempacho, aha na yan mami store na ebubu no aha not o yezongo boy. Yani na ozongo ha. Ana Asumadu so enipa bia. District ha obi anim se na Asumadu tie. Asumadu wabobra wako school onimade enso openipa wari ase openipa ana Asumadu se no sitie se adwuma na oye no adwuma doso wari ase okwa Asumadu adakora obopon obede obenya ne anything na ye youth ne pen no
na lawyer dey.
Oh, lawyer dey me enye race we am nim lawyer enye race because na lawyer no mu say yeto aba no mu say court wari ase eno ba lawyer no ye can say Okoyo that former MP ni lawyer wadi ase ono ye ni lawyer nti all of sudden ehu say wono so aba race ni mu bi ama watwe Okoyo na ase akonya ama wahwe ho nti ma fanso ono wi ni wadi ase nti no ho na medi hu no be me nim no district ha
aje ye say omo nim lawyer no
enye race ya me nim
so oni ye party onya NDC member ono wa ye secretary 4 years now. I said no Bible contest as a parliamentary candidate. So because onimu lawyer no boa. Ondo ontimi hunu because ono onye NDC. Last 4 years yen two man as a secretary. To know a secretary. for Akwatia constituency. I said no only lawyer oko for primaries for a parliamentarian candidacy. Now lawyer no amuka say Akwaji will be position bi no yes or not NDC ye na yi NDC party na yi lawyer say onkodi by we hu asem no okoyi hu asem na na nya say ono obaji akonyu na finish nti na say omnyom ko primaries na owini no nti na di na ko asey.
Well, there are two major candidates from the two major political parties. Are not the only candidates for this election. We're told that there's a candidate for the Liberal Party of Ghana and for the Action People's Party. However, the candidate for Action People's Party, David Ankuma, has been disqualified from the polls, and he is very pissed about it. He's even threatening to seek a court injunction on this upcoming by-election on September 2. So we'll engage him. David Ankuma is here.
I ballot here. Maja to say I'm a candidate. I followed all the due process. No, I'm qualified. I've been there. Adiachi now on my printed ballot papers now. Me ho no ma yi si send me letter around in number 5. Say, omube yin asa me the tax grant certificate be brom. Meanwhile so mo bisa me say me obi a me tua tax. Ma me ma mu hu say me kura de me tua direct tax. Si asa na sika ni kura be ba me nsem na ban wate ne tax da. Nti me demonstrate kire isi ma isi hu say ampa me tua me tax. E mo mu gi bibia tu mu.
Koje tax clearance certificate fi GRA wo koma om.
Na me koje tax clearance certificate fi GRA nkoma om. Na emom no na metime de me pay slips actually say me tua tax ama mo magia to mu say no kwasem say me tua tax na say me demonstrate say me tua tax me yes pepepe
eventually omo disqualify omo. And what action ben am take is since then
say yenim say Ghana emran ye di adwuma na court nso wo ho say omo de atentrene ebeto bebia eda ni nti sisia no ye party lawyer for any me party fund any me ankasa no ye di asem na kodan Accra High Court sisia asem no court ya ma yisi for nso ansa ka omo krata injunction krata ni bia court a say 28 omumbra na asem no omontana so nti enu sisi ana mo ayetu ni se ye pese atentrene eye adwuma nti ye di asem no adan court ebedi ehu adwuma pepepe.
If the court does not grant the injunction the Action People's Party's candidate David Ankuma is seeking, then on Tuesday, September 2, the people of Akwatia constituency will have the opportunity to select from the NPP's Solomon Asumedum, the NDC's Bernard Bediako, and the LPG's Patrick Owusu as the next member of parliament for the Akwatia constituency. From Buedua in the Denchemboa district, Charles Osukume reporting for Channel One News.
Very interesting indeed. So it's going to be a 3-horse race in that particular by-election in Akwatia next week, Tuesday. The NDC, the MPP, and Odike's LPG. The Action Party has been disqualified. I'll be engaging Charles. He spoke to those people, and then also speak to Neoni Amate Kanako. Who are these personalities who are seeking to represent the people of Akwatia? What is their weight? What's their clout? What's their profession? What's their ethnicity? All these things matter a lot of the time. What's even their religious background? Some of these things are things that people consider when they go into the voting booth. What is their day name? Which church do they go to? All these are questions that really people are interested in. What have been their contributions to people's funerals? How have they gone to people's naming ceremonies? Have they been to weddings? Do they know how to dance? Do they know what kind of things do they do? Do they farm? What kind of farming do they engage in? Do they own businesses? How many people have they employed? All of these questions I'll be asking of my panelists when we come back. Please stay. This is Akwatia Watch on Channel One Television and 97.3 City FM. Yeah, welcome back. This is Akwatia Watch, a special show created to focus on the by-elections coming up in Akwatia on September 2nd. That's next week, Tuesday. I am Umaru Sandamado, live on 97.3 City FM and also on Channel One Television. And tonight, this afternoon, I'm engaging my colleagues, Charles Osukumi and Neoni Amate Kanako, as we talk about who really the candidates are. Do I have Ni Kanako via Zoom joining us from Kofredo? Ni, let me start off with you. You are the you are the regional commander in terms of our news coverage. Talk to us about these personalities who are seeking to represent the two parties. What do you know? First of all, talk to us about the gentleman who failed to win the NDC ticket.
Good afternoon to our viewers. Now, you mean the former MP, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the former MP Henry Akwatia, popularly known in the area as Okoyo, contested on the ticket of the NDC. Now he went into the first race with Ernest Kumi after Ernest defeated the former MP Amase during the primaries. They went into the 2020 elections, and Henry Akwatia Okoyo became the winner. Now, Akwatia, since winning that seat, tried to do his bit for residents and constituents in the Akwatia area, but we know he was an opposition MP because during that time or his reign, his era, the New Patriotic Party were in power. So he campaigned based on that even though he's an opposition MP, he's tried his bit to do something for the constituency and urged them that in 2024, when his government comes into power, he's going to do his best. But they went into the 2024 elections, and NS Kumi was declared by the EC as the ultimate winner of the 2024 general elections. Now, Henry Akwatia was not happy, indicating that there were some discrepancies in the Wenchi area. The Wenchi area happens to be the stronghold of the NPP in the constituency, in the Akwatia constituency, because you have Kate Demfua, who happens to be the national women organizer of the NPP, coming from that side. That is the Wenchi area. And then the candidate himself, the then candidate, that is NS Kumi, also hailing from Wenchi. So Wenchi happens to be a stronghold of the NPP in the Akwatia constituency. So this issue came up, and then it was taken to court, and Akwatia took the issue to court shortly after the December 7th elections. And his lawyer happened to be Bernard Bidiakun, who is now the candidate. And Bernard happens to be the NDC secretary for the Akwatia constituency. So through Bernard has been with his candidate Henry Akwatia trying to get the court to overturn that declaration and see how best they can go ahead with that. So the issue was in court right until the unfortunate demise of Ernest Kumi, which stated the upcoming by-election. After it became very obvious that we're going for by-elections, people came out that they should handpick, leadership of the party should handpick somebody to represent the party in the Akwatia constituency. That is from the NPP, the NDC side. But after several consultations, it became very obvious that this was the time for the NDC to have a primaries in a particular area, because they've been eagerly anticipating for a primaries since the days of Baba Jamal. He's been all the candidates from the Akwatia area have been handpicked or selected without any proper primaries being held. So delegates in the area felt that this was a good opportunity for them to also engage in primaries, and leadership of the party, both from the regional level and the national level, agreed to what the people wanted, and then opened the place up for a contest. And after the contest, Bernard Bidiakun became the obvious winner, beating his client, who happens to be the former MP who he was in court with. And then Rasmus Kone Ali, popularly known as Asanka Poyoyo. Asanka Poyoyo is a miner in the Akwatia area. Asanka Poyoyo cuts across the whole area. That is, he has friends from the NPP side and then the NDC side. because of his mining activities and also being a miner in that particular area. You know, Akwatia is a mine. When it comes to Akwatia, it's a mining area. So if you want to be known, well known, unless you are a miner. So all the miners are really well known in Akwatia. So a number of people felt it was a time for Kone Ali Asanka Poyoyo to lead the party after he served the party for several years. He stepped down for Baba Jamal to contest. He stepped down for Henry Boachiadom to go for to also contest. So people felt that he's paid his dues and this was the right time for him. But after the delegates conference, Bernard won the seat, which became a big issue in Akwatia. But all the three aspirants going into the primaries were made to go and have an undertaking, indicating that they will all support whoever wins the elections. So he held on them that they had to go by their own words and then come on board and then support the ultimate winner, which happens to be Bernard. Bernard is the secretary of the party. He's led the party. He's set their books straight. He's been engaging with all people in the area, but he was a bit reserved because he's like a diplomat. Before him even coming into the light, he was serving in the Maslock office. If I'm not wrong, he was serving in the Maslock office under the previous John Dramani Mahama administration. And after the party lost power in 2016, the change of government came in, and then Bernard, who was the operations director or head of operations for Maslock in the region, had to be replaced. So he took the opportunity to better himself, and then he went back to school and to do his law, and then he was called to the bar. He came and then began serving the party in his capacity as the secretary for the Akwatia constituency. So majority of the people, party faithfuls in Akwatia, when it comes to the NDC, really know who Bernard is. He's been a strong advocate for the party, and he's also part of the legal directorate of the NDC in the Eastern region. That is for the Bernard. And when you go to the NPP's candidate, who happens to be Asumedu, Asumedu is the treasurer of the New Patriotic Party in their constituency. Asumedu is a miner, so obviously he's known, and he's employed a number of people at his site, and he also has opened some businesses in the Boadua and Akwatia area. So a number of people, the local indigents, know who, as he's popularly known in that particular area. Sometimes when you even ask them, they don't even know that he was even called Asumedu right until it became obvious that he was going to lead the NPP in the upcoming by-election. Because when you get to Akwatia and you mention Ogu, even a young boy would even direct you to where Asumedu is. So that happens to be for both candidates. And it will be an interesting contest, and if you ask me, going to the fact that all these people are new. This is the first time they are all coming out to contest for the ultimate, which happens to be the member of parliament position, which has become vacant as we speak now.
For all that, the summary of the profiles of these candidates. Let's remain with, is it Koyo? Is that how it's pronounced, or Koyo?
Okoye.
Okoye, okay, great. So have we seen him campaigning for this person who defeated him?
Yes, so the day after the primaries, the next day after the primaries, when Bernard was declared the winner, Bernard and his team, together with leadership of the party in the constituency, Chairman Bibi, who is the NDC chairman of the area, went to Okoyo's house, Henry Boachi Adams' house, to first court his support and apologize for any wrongdoings or anything, because others also felt since he was in court challenging the outcome of the 2024 elections, it was proper for him to have been given the nod to lead the party in some sort of an unopposed situation. But that did not happen. So his supporters were really not happy, and some of them also felt a bit of betrayal on the part of the new candidate who happens to be Lawyer Bediako, since they felt he was behind him, going to court, taking up the matter, and what have you. And then at the last end, now you come to unseat him. A lot of the supporters felt some level of betrayal in that particular area. So the leadership stepped in the next day after Bernard was declared the winner to go and first apologize and also bring him on board and also let him understand the undertaking they took before the primaries. So he agreed and then joined the campaign. So even on Sunday, when the chief of staff visited the Osiewo division of the Wakwa traditional state, Okoyo was there. Okoyo sat next to Bernard at the palace, Osiewo's palace, and then Rasmus Kone Ali, who is Asaka Poyoyo, was also there. So the two of them are joining forces, and the two of them are joining forces together with the candidate Bernard to win the seat. Because if they should leave Bernard out with their supporters, it will be very difficult for Bernard to win the seat in Akwatia, because majority of the people feel some level of betrayal, and the area which happens to be the Asaka Poyoyo's area, that is Kone Ali's supporters, the camp also feels that Kone has not been treated fairly in that particular regard. As I indicated earlier, his service to the party, him stepping down for Baba Jamal to contest, stepping down again for Henry Boachiadom to contest. So they felt this was the right time for him. And after the delegates conference, it didn't happen that way. So his supporters are also not really happy. So the leadership of the party at both the national and the regional level have been telling them to talk to their supporters and bridge the gap and bring all of them on board, because they feel this is not a battle. This is not an internal battle anymore. It's a battle between the NPP, the NDC, and they want to win the seat since their government is in power. So with regards to the candidates who contested in the primaries joining, I must say they are doing their best. I spoke to Kone Ali on Sunday, and he happened to explain the dynamics and the situation at hand. Personally, he has to pick up the phone and then call some of his supporters who are not joining the campaign to do so. He had to explain to them that they had an undertaking and he must respect the undertaking. And he is also telling his supporters that for the interest of the general party and not him as or his personality, they should all come on board and join the campaign. So that is what they are doing. You find people from Okoyo side, you find people from Asanka Poyoyo side entering ghettos, going door to door, going to places, some of the villages, the farming areas specifically, to engage with the people and let them know. Now, the message they are sending out there is their government is in power. So, quote unquote, it will be prudent for the people of Akwatia to vote for a candidate whose government is in power, so that they can enjoy the full cake, their share of the national cake, which happens to be some level of development in the area, than voting for somebody whose government is in opposition. So that has been the message of the NDC going into this particular by-election, Sandra.
Since you've talked about the role of the persons who just contested them, the recent internal primaries ahead of the by-election, let's talk about former MPs of the constituency. I mean, you cannot mention Akwatia without mentioning Baba Jamal. And you can also not mention Akwatia without mentioning Amase. Have these two been involved in any way with the campaign?
Yes. So let me start from Amase's area. Now, before Asomadu was chosen to lead the party, I understand a meeting was held between all possible aspirants, all those who showed interest in contesting for the vacant position, that is the parliamentary candidate slot, when it became very obvious who were heading for a by-election. So a meeting was held between all these people who showed interest. Amase showed interest, Asumedu showed interest, the chairman for Nanayao for MPP in that particular area showed interest, the lawyer for NS Kumi also showed interest. All of them were engaged. They went into a meeting and then they were asked to bring one person to lead the party. So all of them agreed, unanimously agreed that ultimately they have to give it to Asumedu for him to lead. So we've seen several engagements, we've seen several rounds where supporters of Amase are actually on board this particular campaign of Asumedu. Leadership of the party at both the regional level are also actively taking part in this particular campaign. And whenever they visit the grounds, whenever they go to the grounds, you will find Amase and other leadership of the former leaders, including former executives of the party, joining in their campaign.
Okay, thank you, Neil. We will find more time on the shows ahead to talk about these two personalities, Baba Jamal and Amase. Stay there. Let me ask Charles also what he gathered about these candidates. So, Kanako has told us a lot of background about these persons. You have engaged the constituents. What are they saying about these personalities? What kind of persons they are? Why would they vote for whoever they will be voting for out of the three persons? Let's start off with the LPG candidate. Did you get anybody telling you that you vote for him?
Well, for the LPG candidate, you know, very little is known of him. He's a 34-year-old disc jockey.
DJ.
Yeah, he's a DJ. He's a
DJ
in the constituency, in the district. He tells me that, yeah, he's had people calling him to come join his campaign. But, you know, you can only find one or two of his posters there, not as visible as, of course, the other big parties. We don't know if he will make any significant impact, but he's quite confident that once he's on the ballot, he will make some impact. Now, you know, in political campaigning, you have the candidate, you have the vehicle, which is the party, and you have the message. Now, for the NPP's Solomon Asumedu, I believe that what may work for him in this campaign is his person. So you can even draw some comparisons between him and Amase. Because, I mean, engaging the people, especially in Bwedwa, where he comes from, there's a strong support for him because apparently he's like a benefactor to a lot of young people there. He's had a lot of influence on them economically because of his mining business. He owns a mining firm called Owo Mining, and he's employed a lot of young people.
Charles, so the LPG candidate, you were there on Saturday,
yes,
right? After you interviewed him, we have been told that the party has withdrawn from the Akwatia primary. So, so it means that it's going to be just a two-horse race. Yeah, because I'm looking at all the news platforms that are publishing this, and yeah, so I believe there will be no LPG candidate.
Well, that makes just the two of them now.
As to whether he will be on the ballot paper or not, we cannot tell for now. But another party that was in the mix was a party called APP.
Yes, Action People's Party.
Action People's Party. I remember when I interviewed Dr. Rashid Tanko, he said that they went for IPAC meeting and there was a certain APP. He didn't know much about them, but he was surprised that they were there also. And I think they also don't have a candidate. Their candidate was disqualified. So I think our conversation tonight is focusing only on two persons. So. So let's talk about the Asumedu.
Yes. So I was saying that you can draw comparisons between Asumedu and Amase. Very known, well known on the ground.
Okay.
It was difficult getting him to grant an interview. He's not a media person. He doesn't really like, but we're told that he's campaigning on the grounds, going house to house and doing the groundwork. He doesn't really like to come on TV and all of that. But it is his money. he's rich. That's what we've been told. He's had a lot of boys following him. You know, Akwatia is a mining town. He has a mining firm, Owo Mining, and so he's employed a lot of these young people. And these young people, of course, they also have dependents. And so we're told that he has significant influence within the Akwatia constituency, especially in Buedua, where he comes from. We're told that Buedua itself, historically, they voted NDC. But the sentiment you get is that these people kind of tilt towards him. I
think Buedua is a town, as soon as you enter the country, it's the first town.
It's the town before you enter Akwatia.
Okay.
It's even more lively than Akwatia itself.
Is it big?
Entered Akwatia. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. It's not big. But it has like a station, a taxi station, lorry station. Okay. So people from Akwatia going to Asama and they go through Buedua.
And that's the NDC side?
Yes, that's historically.
And that's where the NPP
but that's where the NPP candidate Solomon Asumedu comes from. And you know, you speak to the people. Well, they're happy that they have somebody coming from there, contesting. So let's see how that plays out. For the NDC candidate, he spoke to us. You know, he's a lawyer, brilliant guy who represented Henry Boachi in that election petition.
And he was a party executive too.
And yes, and he's the secretary of the party in Akwatia.
Actually, currently he still is.
He is the secretary of the party in Akwatia. And Asumedu is also the treasurer for the NPP in Akwatia. He's a treasurer. I mean, you know.
Money.
Yes. So, but for the NDC candidate, I feel it is the vehicle, which is the party. You know, the general sentiment around the NDC government these days, they're quite good. The optics are good for the NDC.
There's goodwill.
Yeah, there's goodwill for the party. And he's banking on that. And he's also sending a message that they have about 180-something, 85 or so members of parliament. They have not even...
170. Oh, you mean the number 80... No, what am I even saying? 188.
188.
187, 188, yeah.
They have not even sorted everybody out yet, all the MPs out yet, before to even think about opposition MPs. So if the people of Akwatia really do need development, then they have to vote for the NDC because you run an executive presidency. Everything is vested in the president. He decides what goes where. So the president will decide for the people of Akwatia if the candidate, the MP, is from Akwatia. So that's the message he's sending. And so that is what may do the trick for him. But as for him being as likable as the NPP's Asumedu on the ground, I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all.
So Asumedu is the street guy, is the area guy.
Yes.
Is known by a lot. The NDC candidate isn't that popular.
Yes.
Of course, he would be popular among NDC people. But his party is popular on the ground, at least popular nationally now, and so they are hoping that they'll win. That's a summary of what you're saying. Yeah. And the NPP candidate, he is already a grounds boy or home boy, and perhaps that's why the NPP settled on him without even going into a contest. That's your indication.
Yeah, he's virtually lived all his life there.
Okay.
He went to nearby Odan Senior High School, then went to All Nations University.
Let me ask Kanaku if that's the same thing he's also reading on the ground. So, Neil, the NDC candidate is a secretary. He went into a contest and defeated a former MP. Of course, you cannot say he's not popular. But if you match him boot for boot with the NPP candidate, Charles is of the view that the NPP candidate is perhaps more popular on the ground, or to borrow Brian Makamoko, he's stronger popular on the ground than the NDC candidate, except that the NDC is nationally popular now and possibly nationally more appealing. That is how he summarizes his findings. You agree or you have a contrary view?
Oh, I agree. I agree in the sense that the goodwill is there, but Bediako became very popular after the Koforidua High Court granted an injunction which it placed on an Eskumi after an Eskumi's swearing in. You know, the court granted an injunction barring him for going in for that swearing in. And then we saw on TV the minority leader, Afenyomakin, standing in for him to be sworn in, which became a national issue. So Bediako, after that particular incident, took the footage to court, and then the court said NS Kumi had gone contrary to what it granted. So that particular court ruling there was celebrated heavily in Akwatia, and because it was led by NS Bediako, who is the secretary, it became very popular in Akwatia. So when you get to Akwatia, everybody knows that they call him lawyer Bediako. But that is Solomon Asumedu, because of the mining, and because Akwatia is a mining zone, a mining hub. So a lot of people are familiar with him because he's employed several people among the youth in that particular area, and you find people working for him in some of his shops. So looking at this, and we shouldn't forget that in terms of local politics, Akwatia is some way, because when you try to play the education card, you try to play the tribal card, you try to play the gentle card, the people would not buy into this. They have records of voting skirt and blouse. So this particular contest, it will be an interesting one, because the NDC want to ride on the back of the goodwill from their government, and the NPP also wants to maintain the seat in honor of their fallen hero, NS Kumi. So in all the banners and posters we are seeing around, you see that Asumedu has attached NS Kumi's pictures next to his posters in town.
Which is something that politicians usually do in by-elections that are resulting from death.
Yes. So
for sympathy votes.
Sympathy votes, yes. So this coming Friday, if you've been put the 1 week celebration of NS Kumi to this particular Friday, where tomorrow, I understand, on Thursday, a vigil will be held deep into the night to Friday, where they would observe his 1 week celebration. Even though he died a couple of weeks ago, they decided to hold the 1 week come Friday, so that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we enter into the proper action, which happens to be there.
Before you take leave of us, another thing that happens in by-elections is that quickly we see roads being, asphalted. There will be some work giddy by government. Of course, this government is new; it's still putting these structures together. But are we seeing anything like that? Is there some last-minute street light fixing, those kind of things they do quickly for votes?
No, personally, after going through the community on Saturday and on Sunday, I didn't come across anything like that. What I saw was the base, that is the command, the police command, where you have IGP and his guys coming in to put the operational equipment and gadgets there. That is where we saw that some engineers from the police themselves department were fixing some street lights in that particular area. And this is trying to be very smart in this particular context, because judging from previous occurrence or incident in the past, where you would have some roads being tarred, you have some street lights being fixed at places with some few days to buy elections, and in all this, the people voted against that particular action. They are trying to be very cautious and smart on that particular area. I remember Sunday when the Chief of Staff visited the Osiewo division, the traditional leadership outlined some challenges they have in the constituency, one being the revamping of the GCD, two being some schools that they wanted it to be built, and then their roads. What the chief of staff told them was that he wants the chief to select three traditional chiefs to come to the state of government so that he would summon or invite the responsible ministers available for that particular area, that's the Minister of Education and then the Roads Minister, to be there in that meeting, have a deliberation with those chiefs, that delegation.
Charles, who do you think would fight the most to win Akwatia? Or whose is Akwatia to lose? Is it NDCs to lose or MPPs to lose?
No, it's the MPPs to lose. It was their seat just about, 7 months ago. They won it in 2024 by about 2,000 votes. To sit down and allow the NDC to make up for that 2,000 vote difference and beat you, judging from what happened in Ablekuma North, they lost that seat. They have to win this one.
But a lot of positives are going for the NDC because people want to associate with power. Unless the people of Akwatia want to be orphans, the natural feeling is that they will gravitate towards the NDC. It's something that happened in time. When in 2008, Mills beat Akufo-Addo and was on the verge of winning, but there needed to be a decider in time. The NDC people simply said to the people of time that, listen, we have finished winning, so just seal it up for us. And there were also issues in other by-elections where we hear stories like this. So that would be the NDC's campaign. And to make sense if they do that.
That actually is their campaign message.
Now, if you were, say, 2 years into their government or 3 years, then we can say it's a verdict on the bar. I don't think there's a verdict on NDC as yet. And it's not also... Would it be fair to say that next week, Tuesday's election is still a mirror of 2024, December 7th? And that not a lot has changed. And so it may look like the NDC has a better chance based on everything working for them now.
I mean, if the NDC wins on Tuesday next week, it will be because the people of Akwatia do not want to be orphans, like you mentioned, and they want to be associated with the government and buy into the message that if your MP is in part of the government, you get the developmental projects. That will be the reason why the NDC will beat the NPP if they win. If they don't beat them, then for me, I wouldn't be surprised because I expected the NPP candidate to win after all. Because
Akwatia is not a blue constituency or is it a green constituency, the NPP would have to do a lot of work then to retain that seat, even though they currently held the seat until their death. So the sympathy that they may get appears to be the biggest thing for them, isn't it? And that's why they are putting this vigil, this funeral, all of them happening Thursday.
Of course, Friday. I mean, it's politics. You have to take advantage of the situation. So this Thursday, Friday vigil, I mean, it is to sort of whip up the sentiments down there that, we've lost our MP, but we have a new one if we vote for Solomon Asumadu on Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charles Owo, not Owusu, sorry. Charles Owusu Kumi. Owo is a gentleman in Akwatia. Earlier you heard Neonia Matekanako is our correspondent in the Eastern region. I am Omar Sandamado. This has been Akwatia Watch. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. or 1500 GMT.